Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachadi. Jamuna Tira Vanachadi. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachadi. Jamuna Tira Vanachadi. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajukacharya Ashto Tarasata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Sangstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kundi Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadip Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Srimad Bhagavatam 6:11-24. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Dasanudaso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manaha Smaretasu Pater Gunangs Te Granita Bhak Karma Kurotu Kayaha Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Dasanudaso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manasmaretasu Pater Gunangste Granita Vakarma Kurotu Kayaha Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Dasanudaso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manaksmaretasu Pater Gunangste Granita Vak Karma Karotu Kayaha Someone else? Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Dasanudaso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manasmaretasu Pader Gunangste Granita Vakarma Karotu Kayaha Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Daso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Kaikamulam Dasanudaso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manasmaretasu Pater Gunangste Granita Vak Karma Karotu Kayaha. Ladies. Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Tasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuyaha. Manasmaretasu pater kanangste. Pranita vakarma karotu kayaha. Ahang hare tava padai kamula. Tasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuyaha. Manasmaretasu pater kudanste. Nitavakarma karotikayaha. Aham, I. Hare, O my Lord. Tava, of your lordship. Pada eka, mula, whose only shelter is the lotus feet. Dasa anudasaha, the servant of your servant. Bhavitasmi, shall I become. Bhuyaha, again. Manaha, my mind. Smareta, may remember. Asupatehe, of the Lord of my life. Gunan, the attributes. Te, of your lordship. Granita, may chant. Vak, my words. Karma, activities of service to you. Korotu, may perform. Kayaha, my body. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, will I again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants who find shelter only at your lotus feet? O Lord of my life, may I again become their servant, so that my mind may always think of your transcendental attributes, my words always glorify those attributes, and my body always engage in the loving service of your Lordship. Purport. This verse gives the sum and substance of devotional life. One must first become a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Das anudas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, and he also showed by his own example, that a living entity should always desire to be a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. Gopi Bhartu Padakamaleo Dasa Dasa Anudasa. This means that one must accept a spiritual master who comes in the disciplic succession and is a servant of the Lord. Under his direction, one must then engage one's three properties, namely his body, mind, and words. The body should be engaged in physical activity under the order of the master. The mind should think of Krishna incessantly, and one's words should be engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord. If one is thus engaged in the loving service of the Lord, one's life is successful. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tathati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Shahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Ladita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vansha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Obeisances again to all the devotees of the Lord, and by your association maybe I can say something useful. Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Dasanu Daso Bhavitasmi Bhuyaha Manas Mare Tasu Pater Grunans Te Granitavak Karma Kuro Dukayaha. Vritrasura speaks this verse to Indra, whose prescribed duty is to kill him. Aham Hare Tava Padaika Mula Dasanu Daso Bhavitasmi Bhuya. Vritrasura expresses his desire to again become a servant of the Lord. He'd previously been a servant of the Lord. Now again he wishes to take that position. Bhuya. Everyone's constitutional position, Jiver Sharupoy Krishna Nityadas, is to be the servant of Krishna. But Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavamuda. Although we're meant to be Krishna's servants, somehow or other we've fallen into the ocean of birth and death. So the Kripaya Tavapada Pankaja Stitidhuli Sadrasham Vichintaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays, please by your mercy pick me up and restore me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. Vichintaya, consider me in that way. Dasanu daso, tava padaika mula das, anudaso. Let me be a servant of the servant of those who are completely dedicated to the lotus feet of the Lord. Let me not become a servant of a Mayavadi, Aruya Krishchena, Padam Yushmadangre, who neglect the lotus feet of the Lord. The Dasanudas, let me become the servant of the servant of the servant. Prabhupada said, the more times you add servant, the higher your position. Dasanudas, anudas, anudas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone, even the Advaita Charya, takes the position of servant of the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let me be the servant of Lord Chaitanya and the servant of his servant. To directly try to become the servant of Krishna is not the recommended method. But to become the servant of the servant of the servant. Srila Prabhupada comments that this means adogurvashrayam. One has to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master who's fully engaged in the service of the Lord. The spiritual master is considered the confidential servant of Krishna. And by, of course, confidential servant of Krishna, but he considers himself servant of the servant. He's both. He's the confidential servant of Krishna. And how is he the confidential servant of Krishna? Through the line, servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So one should not try to become a servant of Krishna, but a servant of such a servant of the servant. Tamal Krishna Maharaj titled his book, Servant of the Servant. Apt. Dasanudasosmi, dasanudaso bhavitasmi, bhuyaha. Then what does it mean to be a servant of Krishna? Manas maretasu pater gunamste, granitavak karma karotu kayaha. Mana, we have these three things, body, mind, and words, which we're using in the material life in the wrong way, which we need not elaborate on. But in Krishna consciousness, manasmare tasu, pate, gunams. Guna means qualities. The Lord has unlimited qualities, itam bhuta guna hari. And this is the right subject for the mind. What is that? That King Ambarish, first of all, fixed his mind. Krishna, what is the... Savai Mana Krishna, then? Pararavindaya, yeah. He fixed his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. This is the business of the mind, the right business of the mind. In astrology, the presiding deity of the mind, not only astrology and cosmology, presiding deity of the mind is the moon. And the real moon is Krishna Chandra. This is astrology. Instead of wearing a pearl on whichever finger, if the mind is fixed on Krishna, then the mind is protected from all unwanted influences. Not only protected, on the one side protected from Maya, and on the other side absorbed in its real business to think on and on of Krishna. Prabhupada translates incessantly, without a break, always thinking of Krishna. Smartavyam satatam Vishnu, vismartavyam najatu chet. Therefore, why are we chanting Hare Krishna, to fix the mind? Similarly, we hear about Krishna to fix the mind in these topics of Krishna. And in everything, the mind should be directed toward Krishna. For the pure devotees, automatically the mind is always thinking of Krishna. The gopis complain that we try to forget this troublesome and devious person, but we can't. We can't. We go on thinking of him. It's terrible. We can't get him out of our mind. This is spontaneous devotional service. The conditioned soul doesn't have that problem. He has the opposite problem. He can't get Krishna into his mind. And the beginning or intermediate devotee has his own problem, that sometimes Krishna is in the mind and sometimes not in the mind. Therefore, for the practicing devotees, the regulative principles of devotional service are essential. Practice. Practice makes perfect. He can't jump to the spontaneous platform. He has to practice. So many rounds, such a routine, regularly hearing, regularly chanting, regularly doing so many things, so that the mind will be restored to its natural position. And he'll come to that point, always thinking of Krishna, always thinking of Krishna. So, Manasmarate asupater, always thinking of the Lord of my life. Mat prana natastu. Always, this Krishna is the Lord of everyone's life. For the devotees directly, and for the non-devotees, he's still the Lord of their life, but they deny him. And Granitavak, may our power of speech always be engaged in speaking about Krishna. Or Prabhupada translates preaching about Krishna. When Krishna is in the mind, then we want to distribute Krishna consciousness to others. Granitavak. And karma karotu kaya, and the body doesn't speak, the body doesn't think, the body works. So may that work always be Krishna's business. May we always be engaged in Krishna's service. There's a similar prayer by the residents of Vrindavan, headed by Nanda Maharaj. Manaso vitayo nasyu Krishna padam bujashraya vacho bidayanir nam kayastat pravanadishu. The same thing. May our minds, of course Nanda Maharaj doesn't have to pray. May our minds always be engaged in Krishna's service. May our body always be engaged. May our words always be engaged. He's spontaneously always thinking of Krishna. But he prays to Uddhava, may this happen. Karmabhir brahmyamananam yatra kvapi shradechchaya mangala traditayardanai ratirna Krishna ishvare. Brahmyamananam karmabhi, on account of our previous karma, wherever we may wander in lifetime after lifetime, by the will of God, Mangala Charitardhanaya Ratirna Krishna Ishvare. If we've done any pious activities, if we've done anything auspicious, given any charity, then may we be attracted to Krishna. Again, Nanda Maharaj doesn't have to pray. He's eternally absorbed in Krishna consciousness in that way. But he's humbly thinking, if I've ever done anything good, then may this be the result. All right, let's see what kind of questions there might be, or comments. Tattvavid Prabhu. Oh, Satyanandan Maharaj. Tattvavid, and then Satyanandan Maharaj. And then
what circumstance was Nanda Maharaj making that prayer? What was the occasion, the circumstance?
When Uddhava came to Vrindavan, then when they were parting, that's when Nanda Maharaj spoke this verse. Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I really appreciated the clarity of the lecture and would like to ask a question on thinking incessantly of Krishna. I've written an outreach book called Just Meditate for new people, and have obviously asked myself afterwards, where do we stand in relationship to Smaranam, to remembering Krishna constantly? You said Shravanam, we hear and we chant, and do you have any advice, something like a mind training program that it can shift from the external energy, the things in our immediate environment which concern us, to the one behind the immediate environment, Lord Krishna, a systematic training program of the mind, to think incessantly. It's a huge program to think, a huge project really, some strategic planning or something like this. Hare Krishna.
And it's a huge project somehow to fix our mind on Krishna, to meditate on Krishna. So is there some method, some strategy? The best recommendation I've heard is chant Hare Krishna. There are, yes. Specifically, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's all I know. More? Or Pancharatna Prabhu?
No, more in the sense of more question. Thinking is something that goes on constantly, already. And when we say think incessantly, or that the mind should be incessantly thinking of Krishna, does that mean is that to be understood that everything that you think is the name of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, or could it be understood to be in relationship to Krishna? In other words, there's service, there is, in other words, there's no thought that's not connected to Krishna in some way. There's no thought that is, for example, born out of envy of someone, or born out of sense desire, or any type of thought. Or is it that every thought is the name of Krishna, the pastime of Krishna? How does that work?
How does that work? Are we always supposed to think of some particular name or pastime of Krishna, or is it something connected to Krishna? Well, I'm thinking about it, that recommendation about chanting Hare Krishna. The other part of it is, I forgot, and we're supposed to avoid 10 offenses. That's the other part of our program. So as you said, Maharaj, it's a big project. I'm reminded, Pancharatna Prabhu, of a story told by Guru Das about the first time he went to Vrindavan with Prabhupada in very early days. And they were driving in a car, I guess, from the railway station. And Guru Das is thinking of, what Prabhupada must be thinking, and going back to Vrindavan and Krishna's pastimes, and, what will Prabhupada speak about? And Prabhupada was silent. And then finally Prabhupada said, cement. We have to get cement. So in this way, as you indicated, the devotee is not always thinking about Rasa Lila or thinking about the Sahasranam of Vishnu, but he's also practically thinking of Krishna. Cement and so many other topics for the service of the Lord. The Yashoda Mai is thinking about making sure the milk doesn't boil over, making sure we get the best milk, all for Krishna. So Prabhupada, the devotional service is not just sort of dreaming of Krishna and spacing out for Krishna, or just impractically trying to absorb the mind. But it's practical activity also, and practical absorption of the mind, and thinking of how to do these things for the service of the Lord. How to serve the spiritual master, how to carry out his mission, how to print books, how to distribute books, how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Someplace Prabhupada says that the definition of a pure devotee is that he's always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. So that's there. On the other side, it's not that we shouldn't think of Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes. I sort of leave all that aside because I'm always busy thinking about Krishna's accounts, Krishna's legal cases, Krishna's this, that, and the other thing. Both things are meant to be there. Therefore, the Bhagavatam, Srinvata Swakata Krishna, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, always hearing Bhagavatam. And this is another characteristic of, if we see Prabhupada's life, he was talking about Krishna's pastimes, he was talking about cement, he was talking about Krishna's names, he was talking about Mr. Nair, he was talking about so many things. Always, from both buckets, Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes, and practical service. Purva Prabhu. And then Rabindra Swarup, and I guess there's people there I haven't seen. Wherever it goes.
One thing that Prabhupada said that really sticks in my mind, he said, we don't see anything without Krishna seeing it first. Mm-hmm. We don't hear anything without Krishna's hearing it first. We don't touch anything without Krishna's touching it first. So we're not alone in this body, there's two of us. And when our consciousness becomes a little clarified, we become aware of this happening all the time. Mm. So in that way, Krishna's in front, Krishna's behind, Krishna's in the middle, Krishna's on all sides. I think that's part of Krishna consciousness, whatever you're doing. Krishna seeing it first, Krishna's touching it first, and so on.
Thank you. I saw another hand. There's one here. And there's one here. Left. Okay. Sorry. Saw her hand first.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the amazing topic. And I remembered the book of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, and he wrote that if somebody loves us, it's Krishna loves us through this person.
A little slower, please. The acoustics are such.
So like Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he wrote that when somebody loves us...
When what?
Somebody loves.
Somebody loves.
Somebody loves us.
When somebody loves us, yes.
It means that Krishna loves us.
When somebody loves us, it means that Krishna loves us. Even if nobody loves us, Krishna loves us.
Yeah, that's so true. So like, should we like, whatever happens with us, always thinks that this is Krishna is dealing with us through this situation or this person?
Should we think that Krishna is giving me love through the reciprocation of this person? That depends. It's not that if, someone's wife is affectionate toward me in an amorous way, I should think, well, this is Krishna expressing his love. It is, but through his external energy.
Thank you.
So I was thinking how it's a very tall order to always think of Krishna. So then, just like every journey starts out with the first step. So I was thinking of Bhagavad Gita sloka. Tasmat tvam indiyani ado niyamya bhadatarshaba patmanam prajahi yenam gyana vigana nashanam. That what is it that keeps us from remembering Krishna is mainly the attraction for the senses have where they're objects. That's the enemy. So Krishna says in the very beginning, ado, curb this great symbol of sin lust by regulating these senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So maybe it's like asking him a little too much to always think of Krishna in the neophyte stage, but at least think of Krishna for a portion of the day. Or
Well, as you said, it's a tall order, but that's the order.
that's the order.
And therefore, there are 4 ashrams. The beginning ashram, brahmacharya ashram, means to train the young child in such a way that Krishna consciousness will be strong and control of the senses will be within his power so that he can practically engage in Krishna's service. So he can learn how to be a devotee, how to live in spiritual consciousness. Then grihastha ashram, so that lust can be controlled by regulative principles. Then vanaprastha ashram, so that one can loosen the ties that one has accepted in family life. And then sannyas, to finally ditch the whole thing and go back to Godhead. Yes, Apurva Prabhu.
What is the history or reason that Nanda Maharaj is asking Uddhava or praying to Uddhava in this?
I'm trying to remember what the history was. But there are probably many devotees here who remember better than I will. Krishna had sent, of course, Uddhava to Vrindavan with a message for all the residents, but especially for the gopis, that I'm coming back very soon, and in any case, I'm always there. So Uddhava came there, and there he also expressed his desire to be like just a little creeper, a bush in Vrindavan, so that the gopis might step on his head. Krishna had two purposes. One was to carry the message to the Vrindavan Vasis to reduce or to allay or pacify their feelings of separation. And the other was to instruct Uddhava. He was a disciple of Brihaspati, he was a learned scholar, he was a very accomplished person, an associate of Krishna. But Krishna wanted to show him that here's something more. So he sent him to Vrindavan to see the intense, spontaneous love of the Vrindavan Vasis, and especially the gopis. So it was in that's the general history of what happened. And he stayed for some months speaking about Krishna, Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha. Then he had to go. Yes?
Yeah, so my question was, you were saying to be the servant of the servant of the servant, and I realized that. But to be the servant of the servant of the servant, there has to be a person who has to volunteer to be the servant of Krishna. And then and if you want to be the servant of the servant of the servant, like there must be a direct servant of Krishna who isn't so dear. So I want more information on that.
In Vrindavan, Krishna has his direct servants, and the gopis, cowherd boys, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, and by their very nature, they're directly serving Krishna. And the devotees don't think, let me be like Nanda Maharaj, let me become Yashoda Mai, let me become Lalita Vishaka, let me become Radharani. But they want to find someone who's serving. So the original servants are there, and then the other devotees follow in the footsteps of those servants and try to serve those servants through the line. Is that okay? And even those direct servants, they also want to be servants of the other servants. They don't think, I'm the only servant. They're also serving the others. So even the direct servants of Krishna are servants of the servants.
So like they serve Krishna, and then they also serve many people who serve Krishna, and those people who serve Krishna serve those people who serve Krishna?
Yes. Mutual service society. Very good. Thank you. Good questions. There's a question. Okay, wherever you take it, I see a hand there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
You mentioned many different aspects of how to serve Krishna. In your talk, you briefly also mentioned about focusing our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. But what does that exactly mean, to fix our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna?
I think you have to read Sachinandan Maharaj's new book to find out. But what does it mean to fix the mind on the lotus feet of Krishna? One time, Prabhupada was explaining this verse, Aruya Krishna Param Padam Tata Patanti, what is that? Patanti, Patanti, what's the next word? Atamrita, Anadrita, thank you. Patanti Anadrita Yushmadangriya. Patanti Anadrita Yushmadangriya. So Prabhupada was explaining that those whose consciousness is not so pure, who think that they're advanced, are not really advanced because they're neglecting lotus feet. And then Prabhupada said, feet means person. They've neglected his lotus feet. Feet means person. That was Prabhupada's gloss of lotus feet. Feet means person. The impersonal Brahmajyoti has no lotus feet. But Krishna is a person, and therefore he has lotus feet. And the gopis also show, or the Brajbasis also show how to think of Krishna's lotus feet. They're meditating on and on that Krishna's stamping the ground of Vrindavan with the marks that mark his lotus feet. And in so many ways they're thinking, but feet doesn't, what do they say? There's an English rhetorical figure, I've forgotten which one it is, in which the part stands for the whole. Like if you say, the crown for the king. Yeah, if you say one has to submit to the crown, it doesn't just mean the crown, it means the person who's wearing the crown. If you say that 100 swords entered the battle, it's not that the swords suddenly entered the battle. There were people holding the swords. So when we say lotus feet, it's not like, they're in a glass case somewhere and you... But Krishna's lotus feet then goes up to his ankles, his thighs, his waist, up to his lotus face. And in everything about Krishna, form, qualities, pastimes, Krishna's feet are involved in so many, as Prabhupada said, pastimonious activities. So remembering Krishna's lotus feet means remembering everything about Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the example, how one thing leads to another. He was relishing prasadam with his devotees, and he was thinking that this food, this prasadam, has been tasted by the lips of Krishna. And then it goes on for a chapter, how the same lips that are playing the flute, the same lips that are on and on and on and on. It goes to a whole, on and on and on, thinking of Krishna, thinking of Krishna, thinking of Krishna, just by one original thought that this prasadam has been tasted by Krishna. So the devotees, they think of Krishna's lotus feet, and it goes on and on and on. Or Prabhupada gave another example. I have half a minute. That the child has grown up, but the mother, while looking through some attic or what have you, sees the shoes of the child. And she becomes filled with, love and thoughts. Oh, these are my baby's shoes. These are my child's shoes. And it just doesn't stop there, like these are shoes and they came from a shoe store and size such and such. But it goes on and on, remembering the child, on and on, remembering the child, out of love. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.